I spent months building my eBay, and one show caught up in a day. Let's talk about it. So, I know I've been alluding to, and recently I just experienced my very first card show, but behind a table, as opposed to being another buyer. Now, it was definitely an interesting experience, and it's something that we're going to go over in detail because I definitely organized my thoughts out before I even clicked record on this video. So we're going to go ahead and talk about it today. But before we do that, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Hector. I'm with Hector TCG. I buy and sell Pokemon products online as well as in person now, and I make content about it. I've been recording my journey and being extremely transparent and just showing you everything that I'm doing. If that's something that interests you or piques your interest in any way, shape, or form, then please do continue to watch because I got more in store for you. Man, going into it, it was very, very nerve-wracking. I'm not even gonna lie. I definitely was extremely nervous. And I think it's mainly just because of going blindly into something that I've never done before. Another thing is just the fact that this is something that I've had as a milestone since close to the beginning of my journey. And so finally being here and getting to complete it was surreal, but it definitely instilled a nervousness inside of me that I knew I wasn't quite gonna get over until I started getting my feet wet. But I mean, mainly it was just stepping into something that I'm completely new in. I had no experience, while I did have the upper hand that a lot of our fellow community members are vendors as well. Close friends of mine are vendors as well. And they prepped me as much as they possibly could beforehand, answered all my questions. Shout out Sky Ninja, Rish, any of our vendor friends that I may not be mentioning right now. All of you guys were amazing, and I genuinely appreciate all your help. Oh, Shug as well. Yeah, all of you guys were absolutely crucial to me crushing it for the first time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I definitely, aside from just being nervous, I mean, I played it very smart going in. I brought 300 cards or somewhere around there. It was like probably a little bit under, maybe like 280, 290. Close to $3,000 worth of inventory. But I wanted to make sure that I had, enough variety, and I went with low to mid-tier singles as well. I just wanted to have enough to where people could have choice. And I knew it was a small show going into it, so I also didn't want to bring too much, and I also didn't want to bring too much crazy, more higher price stuff. So I played it smart. I brought 300 cards, let's just call it that, around 3 to 3.5k in inventory. And I think we did pretty well. I think that was a great idea on my part. I will say I was completely confident in what I chose to bring, and that was with reason. All in all, under all of those nerves, there was definitely a huge amount of excitement because I definitely wanted to be there. I was excited. I was waiting for that day to come, and it came, and I had a blast doing it, and I knew this was going to be the case. Like I said, the nerves always gets you, but once I got into it and I got past the first couple of interactions, I felt natural. So yeah, like I said, the switch flipped almost instantaneously. Within a couple of interactions, I was already just wheeling and dealing, talking to people, and it felt like people weren't really haggling too much. Like, my prices were very fair. I wasn't selling crazy, high value singles or anything like that. And everyone was just very nice to me. Everyone took it easy on me. And it was funny because whenever I mentioned that it was my first time ever behind a table, they almost seemed a little impressed. Not to toot my own horn, but more so because they would have never guessed if they were talking to me. Like, just, if we were just in like while we were in conversation, that they didn't know, they wouldn't have guessed, because the confidence that I displayed at some points was just like that of, you know, someone who's been doing this for a couple shows maybe. So I definitely had a blast. I will say my muscle memory did a lot of carrying, no pun intended. But like the years of customer service, of just dealing with customers, dealing with not even customers, dealing with guests, dealing with people, dealing with clientele, just, you know, knowing how to talk to other people, knowing how to be a human being and treat others like human beings, knowing how to provide information when it's needed. Just all of those things came in very handy, and it made it almost like a seamless thing where interactions were just flowed very well. There was no awkward moments, no awkward pauses. I mean, if they had a question, I had answers. But it was also an experience that you can only get from getting your feet wet, getting in there, and just getting it done. So, I mean, the biggest difference between selling online versus selling in person, I mean, there's a couple of them, right? There's being there, right? Knowing what they want, because they're talking to you, right? You're asking questions, you're probing. I mean, you're not trying to be too into their business, but just, hey, how you doing? How's your card show been so far? What kind of Pokemon do you like? Are you looking for anything in specific? Just little things like that. The same questions they would ask you in a Walmart if you're walking into a Walmart, right? It's just basic customer 101, customer service skills. Like, it's just trying to get to know what they're looking for, whatever issue. Like, a customer comes in with a problem and you're their solution, right? You have the solution. At least you're looking for the solution. You just have to know what the problem is, and so you ask. But like, aside from that, like, the biggest thing is just being there and experiencing that human interaction. It's just seeing their smiles, you know, seeing the joy in their faces, like their face lighting up when they see their favorite Pokemon in an art that maybe they didn't know existed. Maybe seeing something that they've had on their list that they haven't been able to find anywhere else. Or maybe they're just like me and they're fans of Japanese cards, and, you know, they're excited to see a vendor that has almost exclusively Japanese cards. And like, those things are kind of what made this show very worth it. Obviously, yes, we made money. Like, we made a decent amount of money, and I will reveal that later on. But just the fact that, like, I was able to give people experiences and, like, help people and see them, like, look satisfied after the problem was solved, it was just such a great experience. It was different than selling online. Online, you just see that an order comes in, you pack it, you ship it, done. Like, for example, this morning or last night, I packed 12 orders, right? It was great, right? I packed all the orders, and then I went to the USPS, and then I just delivered them all. I made sure they scanned them in, got my receipt, and I was out of there. But like, yes, you do feel satisfaction, but you don't feel the type of satisfaction that you feel when you're right there in front of somebody, when you're talking to someone, when you're conversing with them, when you're seeing what it is that they like, what they don't like, when people are coming up to you with their collections, with their binders. Like, I met a Cubone, shout out to you, the Cubone King. He's someone with a literal, an amazing, very, very impressive Cubone collection. I mean, the dude was like in it, you know, in it, completely full-fledged. 2 years of collecting nothing but Cubones, mainly Cubones, Marowaks of all sets, all eras, all ages. It was amazing. It was so impressive. I have never seen a collection that extensive and that impressive of just one Pokemon. It was truly a sight to behold. It was so much fun just seeing people get excited about seeing Pokemons that they loved, seeing cards that they loved, maybe cards that they haven't seen, cards that they didn't know existed, learning facts about certain cards. Like, you know how I am with my Illustrator knowledge. I try to, like, give people some fun facts and stuff like that, and people love that type of stuff, you know? It definitely felt like I was fully in my element, and everything just came naturally, and we just had a blast doing it, you know? But real quick, I just wanted to take a brief pause from the video to say, if you're getting some type of value from this video, do us a favor, give us a like, comment, and even subscribe to the channel. I will be putting out more content like this as often as I possibly can. I'm aiming for 3 videos a week. No promises. I'll try to minimum do 2. But please give us your support if you enjoy this type of content. And I will continue to try to be as transparent as humanly possible. But with that being said, let's get back to the video. So I mentioned earlier that before the show, I did speak to a bunch of people, vendors mainly, and they all told me that this is literally how it goes. Like, everything that I experienced are all things that they told me. They were like, dude, you're gonna love it. You're gonna have so much fun. The interactions are great. The people are great. Like, while yes, you may have a bad experience here or there, like the majority of it is just positive. You're gonna see things you've never seen before. You're gonna see cars you've never seen before. You're gonna experience like newer types of collectors that you've never seen, that you've never met. It's gonna be a blast. You're going to make money, most definitely. You're gonna sell amazingly well. You wouldn't have never imagined you could sell like that. And like everything that they said literally came to fruition one by one. I just got to experience everything, and every time that something happened, I would just think back to that conversation and remember, like, damn, homeboy told me about that. And the crazy part is that this was a very, very small show. It wasn't even advertised like that because it wasn't like a huge show. It wasn't a show by any means. It was more so like a trade night with a lot of vendors in there, or a trade day with a lot of vendors in there. But it was a blast, you know? No, they didn't charge for tables or anything like that. So like, it wasn't a huge show by any means. However, if we sold the way that we did at this show, I can only imagine the way that we could sell at a like regular size show, which around this area are a lot bigger than this, and they certainly advertise the crap out of it for weeks on end beforehand. So the level and the amount of people that go is huge difference to what I experienced in this show. So all in all, between, you know, cards that sold and just trades, because we did a lot of trades as well, it was 30 to 40 cards that left the table. We probably made around, I would guesstimate like 400. That was like without trades, we made about 350. So with trades included, and you know, we sold some things that we traded for as well, like that same day. Like, I could imagine we probably made around the ballpark of like $450 to $500, and that was just in one show. So the simple fact that like it took me 30 plus days, around 65 to 75, 80 days to hit $1,000. Of course, I mean, on my eBay. Now, of course, I was selling bulk and loaded mid-tier singles. However, mainly bulk. But the fact that we were able to do half of that in one freaking day, it still astounds me. This stuff moves incredibly fast in person in comparison to online. Now, obviously, there's a couple reasons for that. Online, especially on eBay, people are looking for a ton of other things that are not just cards. And another thing is, like, in these shows, people are literally looking for Pokemon. The stuff sells itself. People are coming to your table. Like, they're going to every table and they're looking for things that they want. So if you have what they want, simple as that, they're going to buy it, especially if you have it at a good price. But I realized that all in all, the play is definitely going to be to sell online in tandem with selling at shows, because they both just compound, and the growth is going to be so much quicker from now on. So I'm glad I was able to make this move, because I definitely see a bright future ahead. So let's kind of start to wrap this up. This all meant a lot to me. This was an experience that I never thought that I would get to have. It was one of the milestones that I had set for myself from the very beginning of starting this business. And I doubt myself. You know, I tend to doubt myself. I didn't think that I would get here, but I did. We made it. I definitely proved to myself that I can most definitely do this. I proved to myself that as long as I keep working hard and I keep putting in those reps, I will definitely make it where I need to be and where I want to be. But the biggest thing of all is that I proved to myself that I'm on the right path, and that I need to keep grinding. I need to keep grinding, and I need to keep achieving more and more milestones, set more milestones, even if they seem unrealistic at the time, so that I can get to where I want to be. So, all in all, I'm already committed to doing more shows. I'm going to be doing at least 2 shows a month. Now, the only reason I'm only doing 2 is because I feel like 2 is enough to where it means something, but it's also not too much so where I'm sacrificing one day every weekend, and not having that time with my family. You all know I have 5 kids. I'm a very busy person, and I need to be able to make time for my wife, for my kids, and everybody in my family. So, with that being said, I will be doing more shows. That's definitely going to become a staple part of this, and eventually I will be purchasing a camera. Probably a DJI Osmo, as many of my vendor friends have recommended. And I will definitely be recording a lot of this stuff, a lot of these interactions, vendor POVs, and I will be posting them on the channel as well. Now, I will be bringing more inventory next time, and I will be hitting a bigger show. That's a given. And just, grinding out more of these shows, networking will be a huge priority on the list from now on, because I've noticed and I've seen the impact that networking can have on your business and just on you as a person through your experiences in this hobby. So, one last thing I wanted to end with. If there is one of you, if somebody's watching and you guys have made goals for yourself, if you're looking to take that next step, or whether it's vending, or whether it's just starting your store in general, or whether it's just, following in my footsteps to do what I'm doing, my message to you is to shut up and just do it. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm not telling you to shut the hell up. I'm saying put your money where your mouth is. Put your best foot forward. Take that leap of faith. I promise you, if you keep hacking at it, eventually you're going to succeed. Obviously, that doesn't just mean doing stupid shit and failing every time. What that does mean, though, is carefully thinking about what you're going to do. No analysis paralysis. Just put your best foot forward. Apply all the knowledge that you've learned. And the best thing you can do is make mistakes, because when you make a mistake, you at least have footage to go off of. You at least have learned a lesson that you can take with you and do it better the next time. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it right here. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Do like and subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.